Hello to everyone. I am Dr.S.RAJESWARI, Associate Professor of Economics, A.D.M. College for Women, Nagapattinam. Today we will discuss very interesting topic, that is labor laws. See, the labor laws, it refers to legal regulations that govern the relationship between employers and employees in the workplace. Okay, that is the labor laws. See, these laws cover a wide range of issues. What are the issues? It includes wages, working hours, health and safety standards, discrimination, termination of employment, and collective bargaining rights. Okay, these are all the important issues for the labor. See, in this, what are the specifics of labor laws? See, the labor laws vary from country to country, but it generally aims to protect the rights of workers and ensure fair and safety working conditions. Okay, and here we will see the important laws. So these laws have many provisions. See, the main aim of the labor laws to save the interest of workers of organized and unorganized sectors in India. See, the labor comes under the concurrent list of the Indian Constitution. So the Indian labor laws are made to define a clear-cut relations between employers and employees. Okay, so the Indian labor laws are made to safeguard the interest of workers in the after the outbreak of the COVID-19. Many states have relaxed the labor laws in the favor of the employers, investors, so that the foreign investment can be attracted in their states. So the relaxation may cause the violation of labor laws in India. So here we will discuss the important labor laws and their provision. We will see one by one. First, the important labor laws. First one, Workers' Compensation Act, 1923. Next, Trade Union Act, it is established in the year of 1926, and the Payment of Wages Act in the year of 1936, Industrial Employment Act 1946, and in 1947, the important labor laws, that is Indian Industrial Disputes Act. Next, it is also very important labor laws, that is Minimum Wages Act in the year of 1948, and the Factories Act 1948, and the Maternity Benefit Act 1961, and Payment of Bonus Act 1965, and the MRTU and the PULP Act 90. See, the Payment of Gratuity Act, another, it also includes the Payments of Gratuity Act 1972 and Labor Law Compliance Rules, and Employees Provident Fund, Employees State Insurance, Collective Bargaining, Unorganized Workers Social Security Act 2009, and the Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace Act 2013. Okay, these are some important laws in India. These laws have many provisions to save the interest of the workers of organized and unorganized sector in India. It is coming under the category of the Indian Constitution. So the Indian labor laws are made to define the clear relations between employees and employers. See, first one, the Trade Union Act. See, what are the provisions coming under the Trade Union Act 1926. See, the trade unions are very strong union and the main medium to save the rights of the employee, to safeguard the interests and rights of the employees. So these unions have to power to compel higher management to accept their reasonable demands. So Article 1C of the Indian Constitution gives everyone the right to form associations or unions, that is called the trade union. So the Trade Union Act 1926 amended in 2001 and contains the rules on governance and general rights of the trade unions. Next one, Payment of Wages Act 1936. This is it introduced in the year of 1936. So, what is the main that is wages, and what are the main issues of this Payment of Wages Act 1936? See, this act, that is Payment of Wages Act 1936, it ensures that workers must get wages or salaries. You know the difference between wages and salaries. See, wages and salaries on time and without any unauthorized deductions. Okay, Section 6 of the Wages Act 1936 says that workers must be paid in money rather than in kind. Cash or kind, they know already. So, the workers must be paid in money rather than in kind. Okay, that is the main concept in this Payment of Wages Act 1936. Next, Industrial Dispute Act 1947. See, what is the importance of this Industrial Act means? See, disputes means we know there is problems arises within the employees. So, this act has the provisions regarding their fair dismissal of permanent employees. As per this law, a worker who has been employed for more than a year can only be dismissed if permission is sought from granted by the appropriate government office or concerned authority. That is the main provisions in this Industrial Dispute Act 1947. A worker must be given valid reasons before dismissal. So, an employee of permanent job nature can only be terminated or proven misconduct or for habitual absence from the office. Okay, next of Minimum Wages Act. Okay. It is introduced in the year of 1948. This act ensures minimum wage or salary to workers of different economic sectors. So, the state and the central government have the power to decide the wages according to the kind of work and the location. They have power to fix the wage. That is, central government and state government have the power to decide the wages. See, it depends upon the locality and also working conditions. Okay. Next, this wage may range between as much as rupees 143 to 1,120 per day, and also this minimum wage can be differ from one state to another state. Okay. Next, the average per day wage rate for unskilled work under MGNRE scheme, that is Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme, is set to rise by 11% from 180 to rupees 202 in the year of 2020 to 21. So, this scheme, the worker gets rupees 258 a day in Dadra and Nagar Haveli, while rupees 238 in Maharashtra and rupees 204 in West Bengal. Next, it is a familiar one, Maternity Benefit Act in the year of 1961. So, this act entitles maternity leave for pregnant women employees, that is full payment despite absence from work. So, as per this act, female workers are entitled to a maximum of 12 weeks and 84 days of maternity leave. This is all the organized and unorganized officers that have more than 10 employees shall implement this act. So, this law protects the job of the female workers during pregnancy and post-delivery. See, it is relaxed after 2017. So, in this maternity act, who are eligible to take a maternity leave and who work at recognized organization and factories can apply for maternity leave for up to 12 months. This is a new scheme, and women employees can take their maternity leave either before or after they deliver the child. Okay. Next, the maternity leave can also a span of period before and after their delivery as well. During this leave period, the women employer is required to pay the women employee her salary in its entirely. In addition to the standard, the maternity leave rules in India, employers can provide further maternity leave as the benefit to the women employees. It is fully the benefit to the women employees. So the Maternity Benefit Act has been updated several times to safeguard and protect the interest of the women employees. So this act also updated as recently as 2017 and covers work from home. That is the main thing. The work from home or hybrid work models, in addition to allowing new mothers additional paid days off. It is a new updated one. Okay. Next, the Maternity Benefit Act in India supports women before and after the birth of their child. See, what is the main purpose? Means to safeguard and protect the interest and the livelihood and allows them to nurture their newborn baby while taking care of themselves. Next one, the Sexual Harassment of Women Employees at Workplace Act 2013. So this act prohibits any kind of sexual harassment of the women workers at the workplace. Next important one, that is this act came into force from 9th December 2013. See, what are the categories come under the sexual harassment? So that is pornography and also a demand or request for sexual favors and sexually colored remarks, physical contact and advances, and any other unwelcome physical, verbal or non-verbal behavior of sexual nature and lewd comment. Okay. Next, this act must be implemented by all public or private and organized or unorganized sectors that have more than 10 employees. So this act covers all women irrespective of her age or employment status. Most of the Indian employers did not implement this law. So these were some important labor laws in India which are made to protect the employment and ensure good working conditions, fixed working hours, that is payment and bonus and maternity leaves, etc. Female labor participation in labor force. So first one, what are the causes of lower women participation in the labor force? That is, first point is patriarchal social norms. It is one of the important one. That is deep-rooted patriarchal norms and the traditional gender roles often limits women's access to education and employment opportunities. So societal expectations may prioritize women's roles as caregivers and homemakers. So it discouraging their active participation in the labor force. Next one, gender wage gap. You already know that is what are the difference between the wage difference between the male and female. That is, women in India often face that is wage disparities compared to men for similar work. The same type of salary get for the different one. So according to World Inequality Report 2022, men in India capture 82% of labor income while women earn only just 18%. This is a comparison between female and female. Okay. Next one, this wage gap can discourage women from seeking formal employment opportunities. Next, unpaid care workers. So, the burden of unpaid care and domestic work falls disproportionately on women, limiting their time and energy for paid employment. Next one, married women in India spend over 7 hours per day on unpaid care and domestic work. Okay, while men spend only less than 3 hours. Next, this trend is consistent across income levels and caste groups, leading to a significant gender disparity in domestic responsibilities. So the unequal distribution of household responsibility can be a significant barrier to women's participation in the labor force. Next, social and cultural stigma. So, in some communities, there may be a stigma or resistance associated with women working outside the home. It leads to a lower labor participation rates. Next, LFPR. That means what? Female labor force participation rate. That is called LFPR. So, this is despite a surge in the enrollment rate for girls in class 10, India's female LFPR has declined from 30% to 24% over the past 2 decades. The burden of domestic work is a key factor contributing a lower female LFPR, that is female labor force participation rate, even among educated women. Next, India's female LFPR, that is 25%, is the lowest among BRIC countries, and it is especially for South Asian countries. China, with the highest female population, it moves to the highest female LFPR at 61% compared to the India and China. Next, what are the impact on women employment? So, women not in the labor force spend the most time on unpaid domestic or care work, averaging 457 minutes, that is nearly 8 hours, that is 7.5 hours per day. Okay. Next, employed women follow closely, spending 348 minutes, okay, that is 5.8 hours per day on such course, impacting their ability to engage in paid work. So, how can higher women labor participation impact the society at large? See, the main impact on the economic growth. Okay. So, women participation in the labor force is directly linked to economic growth. When a significant portion of the female population remains underutilized, it results in a loss of potential productivity and economic output. So, next up, the increased women labor force participation can contribute to higher GDP, that means gross domestic product, and overall economic prosperity. Next, human capital development. So, educated and economically active women can positively influence the education and the health outcomes of their children. It leads to intergenerational benefits. Next, gender equality and empowerment. Higher women's participation in the labor force can challenge traditional gender roles and norms, it promoting gender equality. Next, economic empowerment enables women to have greater control over their lives and also decision-making authority or decision-making power. Next, fertility and population growth. Many studies analyzed or it has shown that women's labor force participation increases and that leads to fertility rates tend to decline compared to this. The fertility rates tend to decline, and this concept known as fertility transition. It is associated with improved access to education. That means to create awareness to educate the children, and also health care facilities and family planning, leading to more sustainable population growth. Next, reduced gender-based violence. So, the economic empowerment is influenced in this reduced gender-based violence. It can enhance women's bargaining power and reduce their vulnerability to gender-based violence and abusive relationships, and the labor market and the talent pool. So, this kind, it increasing women's participation in the labor force can help and address skill shortages and the labor market imbalances, and leading to more efficient allocation of talent and resources. Next, what are the steps the government schemes or the steps for taking the what are the government schemes related to women empowerment. First, Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao scheme, One Stop Center scheme, and a Swadhar Krach scheme, Nari Shakti Puraskar scheme, and Mahila Police Volunteers, Mahila Shakti Kendras, that is MSK, and the Nirbhaya Fund. These are all the government schemes for some of the increasing the labor force participation. Next, what are the factors behind the decline in female labor force participation rate? First one, domestic responsibilities. Compared to men, women have more domestic responsibilities and burden of unpaid care work and lack of safety and mobility. So, next one, interplay of social norms and identities and occupational segregation and limited opportunities to enter the non-traditional sectors with inadequate supportive infrastructure. See, what are the infrastructure means, such as piped water and cooking fuel, etc. In addition to this, the crimes against women and girls is most important barrier to women's participation. What should be the way forward for this scheme? India needs a comprehensive mechanism that involves states, institutions, communities, and households to address crime against women. For that, we have to adapting a safety network focused on services and attitude of women and focus on community development and the empowerment of women, transport and other infrastructure and youth intervention. These schemes or this aspect or this concept can be the first step. India, it continues to struggle to provide its women with equal opportunity in 2019 before the COVID-19. Okay, pandemic, COVID-19 pandemic. Female labor force participation in India was 33.5% according to International Labour Organization estimates. This is the pandemic has made this situation worse, and it has to hit women disproportionately because they work in sectors that have been the hardest to hit and work more than men do in the informal economy, or because they are the primary caregivers at home. As the recovery of the Indian economy, it requires a concerted effort of both government and citizens. The women can become a critical part of the economic recovery. So thus, there is need to ameliorate long-standing issues that hamper female labor force participation in India. What are the constraints for labor? Female labor force participation. That is stereotyping in society. That means India's societal norms are such that women are expected to take the responsibility of family care and child care. This stereotype is a critical barrier to women's labor force participation. Due to this, that is stereotyping in society, the women are in constant conflict over allotment of time for work, and life is a war of attrition for them. Next, a digital divide. What is in India in 2019? That is, internet users were 67% male and 33% female, and this gap even bigger in rural areas. Next, lack of gender-related data. So, the globally major gaps in gendered data and lack of trend data make it hard to monitor the progress. In India too, a significant gap on the girl child prevent a systematical or longitudinal assessment of the lives of girls. And what are the impacts of COVID-19? See, owing to COVID-19, the global female employment is 19% more at risk than male employment. That is, it is according to the International Labour Organization estimates. For India, several estimates show that compared to the men, women were 9.5% less likely to be employed in August 2020 compared to August of 2019. The World Economic Forum's Global Gender Gap Index, which measures gaps that exist in the economic participation of women, India slipped to that is 112th place in this year, simply because of over 70 lakh Indian women have dropped out of work. So this great divide can become a barrier for women to access critical that is education, health, financial service, or to achieve success in activities or sectors that are becoming more digitalized. Next, technological disruption. So women hold most of the administrative and data processing roles that artificial intelligence and other technologies threaten to resolve. So as routine jobs become automated, the pressure on women will intensify and they will experience higher unemployment rates. So what are the main conclusions for this labor laws? The main conclusion for labor laws is that they play a crucial role in protecting workers' rights, ensuring for fair treatment in the working place, and promoting a healthy work environment. So these laws are essential for preventing exploitation, discrimination, and unsafe working conditions. However, their effectiveness depends on enforcement and adaptation to evolving workplace dynamics and the societal needs. So these are the efforts to strengthen and enforce labor laws are necessary to promote social justice, economic stability, and human dignity in the workplace. Thank you.